Hello and welcome to Trading 5 Talents. In today's video, I want to give the monthly portfolio update for October 2022. So this is the monthly chart for the S&P 500. This is the ticker SPY. So each candlestick is 1 month. So starting in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So September was a very red month for the markets as it is traditionally. But then in this past month of October, it looks like, at least in this chart, it looks like we may have, hit the bottom for the year. At least we can say we hit the lowest price so far of the year. And it looks like we are going back up. And so we'll see if that trend continues into the end of the year. But overall, October was a pretty green month for the SPY. Let's take a look at the Dow. And in the Dow, you can see there's an even bigger move upward. Once again, it looks like we did hit the lows for the year in the month of October so far. And then let's take a look at NASDAQ. So this is triple Q. And it's not as much green, but at least it is green. So overall, in all three ETFs, there was a green month for the month of October. So let's see how the portfolio did. All right, this is a 2022 trading dashboard. This is a free Google sheet that I created. And if you'd like a copy, then there is a link down in the description. You can go ahead and click on it and download and save a copy for yourself. So month of October, I have my portfolio split up in two different sections. So personal and then also what I'm using to trade options with for my Tesla Model 3 payments. So I combine them all into one, and then I split the profits, based on how much each section of my portfolio represents. So overall, I made just under $3,000. So I made $2,966. So that's really good. I haven't made that much in quite a while. At least this was my best profit month for the year, which is good. I'm very happy and excited that we did that. And it looks like we had a 17.81% return. And I'm only going for 6% every month, but I wanted to see how much money I can make this month. And it looks like I made quite a bit. So what were these trades? How did I make this money? So going over to the trade log. All right, let me zoom out so you can see the profits and losses. So with this trade log, you can select which month you would like to choose those trades from. And right now, I'm just showing all of the trades that closed in the month of October. So there was a whopping 76 trades for this month, which is, I don't know, maybe that's a double of what I normally do. There was a lot more trading that went on. And that's because I have transitioned away temporarily from the wheel strategy where I'm just selling cash secured puts or selling covered calls based on stocks that I own. And I'm actually doing a little bit more directional trades. And then you'll see I did some earnings trades as well. But anyway, that's why there are so many for this month. So let's take a look at I'm not going to go through every one of these, but just take a look at some of the types of trades that I've done. So if I clear this trade type, and then I go to call verticals, all of my call verticals, so this would be the call credit spreads. These were all shorts. So short call verticals, or these would be a bear call spread. They're all done on SPY, and you can see that I did 17 of them, negative $207. So I had some that were I was on a pretty good win streak, but then just a couple of losses sort of just wiped all of that out. So that wasn't good. If we go to the put verticals, and I have some longs and some short put verticals. So these are either put credit spreads or put debit spreads. Now with the credit spreads, I like those, both the call and the put credit spreads, because again, you're selling options, you're selling premium, and theta decay is working in your favor. And so that's what I was doing with a lot of those call credit spreads. Here with the put credit spreads, some of these you probably remember from my previous videos. These are actually ghetto spreads. So what I would do is I would enter into a long position, whether it's in this case, it's a put, enter into a long put. Once it's profitable, instead of closing out that put, then I would sell a put for the same price that I bought the original put for. And that would cancel out any risk, and there would be more potential upside if the stock moved down. So I have a couple of videos on that, pretty much on SPY, I think. But those worked out really well. You can see just with these put verticals, $1,247 in profit. So happy with those. And then, as you know, I've been testing out several different iron condor strategies this month. So with all these different iron condors on the SPY and on the Q, I made a total of $732. A lot of those testing and a lot of those just scaling up because I was very confident in that type of trade setup. So $732, 21 trades. And then if we look at the puts here, these are all long puts. So just buying puts on several of these names. So BBBY, GME, SPY, Microsoft, Meta, and then Intel. And you can see that I made a total of $4,008. So remember, my grand total for the month, my ending total was just under $3,000, but in puts alone, I made over $4,000, just over $4,000. So why is my ending profit so little? Well, the reason for that is I took a lot of the profits that I made this month and I actually use them to mask losses that I'm taking in my stocks. So I sold off a lot of stocks. And if you look here at the stock positions, so stock positions, negative $3,102. So I sold off a lot of the stocks, but to cover that up, I guess to mask it, I took a lot of my profits specifically from my puts because I had over $4,000 in profit from there. Now, what are these puts? Usually I don't buy single options like this. And I've never done earnings trades, plays. But this month, I thought it might be a good idea to do it. And that's sort of a double-edged sword. As you can see, I made a lot of money off of earnings trades. And of course, you would think that is a good idea if you made so much profit. Well, the other side of the coin is, one, I really wasn't sure of which way the trade would go. Because recently, if you've noticed earnings, if you follow earnings, sometimes there's an earnings miss and you would expect the stock to fall, but instead it goes up. Sometimes there's an earnings beat and, better than expected earnings, and you would expect the stock to rise, but sometimes the stock also falls. So you never really know, at least I don't, you never really know what the stock is going to do, even if you have a pretty good idea of what the earnings is going to be. It's either going to be a beat or a miss. So yes, I was able to make profit on the earnings this month. However, it sort of also gave me a false sense of confidence that, hey, I know what I'm doing and I can make a lot of money just by, going long on puts or long on calls. In actuality, I don't think for me that's going to be a good long-term strategy. I think I would rather sell premium. I'd rather run something like the wheel once the market environment gets a little bit better. So I don't want to bank on the idea that I can be so confident in determining direction of a stock by playing these single options. But in this case, it turned out. So what were these earnings that I did? Well, let me show you a few of them. Okay, so the first earnings trade that I made was a long put on Microsoft, and I entered, towards the end of the day before earnings. A lot of these tech companies, I saw that they just weren't, hitting their earnings in the third quarter, and so that's what they were reporting now. So I went short on Microsoft, and yeah, I made money here. You can see this big gap down after earnings were released, and then I was able to capitalize on that trade. So you can see my Microsoft trade netted me $137. The next earnings trade I did was Amazon, and once again, I was bearish on it, so I went short, bought a put, and then you could see it gap down. I thought it was going to continue down further, so what I did is I converted this into a ghetto spread. So once this long put was profitable, I entered a short put for the amount that I paid for the long put, and so my risk was off the table, and I was able to ride it down even further. And then you can see that I made $259 from that earnings trade, that ghetto spread. So the next one was INTC. I was bearish. It was going down all day. It was a tech company. I thought it would miss. It actually beat. You can see that it gaps up, and then I just lose everything on this one. That was, I think, $155 loss on that put. So, once again, this just goes back to me not knowing exactly what is going to happen on earnings or after earnings, even though you have a pretty good indication of what might happen. I think it's just too risky for my style of trading, even though I did make money. Now, here's the one that I made the most money on. So another tech company. So this is Meta, so formerly known as Facebook. And this had a very large miss. So this earnings, you can see it's red. So this one was not good. Bearish all day. And I entered 2 puts on this one. Again, 2 puts because I was more confident. And it just went straight down. I mean, there was a huge gap down. So it went from what? About 130-ish, and then it opened, just under $98. So that was a very large gap down overnight. And I believe I had sold 2 of the 120 puts. So these were deep in the money. And I thought it was going to go down even further, but there was a small recovery. I cashed out right here, and I made $3,668 on that trade. If you would have held it, it could have gone down even more, but again, I didn't know it was going to go down. I thought it was going to recover, so I just wanted to get out as quickly as I could. So, yeah, I made a lot of money with these earnings plays. I've never traded earnings before. I don't think I'm going to do it again, even though I made this money. I don't want to again have that false sense of confidence that I know what I'm doing with these trades. I think I was just pretty fortunate on this. So, with all of the money that was made this month of October, what I am doing is I'm using those profits to actually cover some of the stock losses that I showed you before, to get out of some of the things that I was bag holding. The other thing I was doing with these profits is, one, paying off the auto payment for my Tesla. Which, again, this is the whole idea of this trading. And then the second thing is there are just a few other smaller debts that I had that I was able to pay off by these profits on these earnings plays. So, yes, I made a lot of money. Not a lot of it is going back into my account because I'm withdrawing a lot of it, or I'm covering up losses that I had this month as well. So that's why I made quite a bit, but it's only being recorded as, $29.96. A lot of that is being withdrawn as well. So let me show you what it looks like on the dashboard of my Trade 5 app. Again, if you would like to try out this phone app, then it is, there's a link down in the description. There's a 30-day free trial. It's a mobile trade log. You can enter in all your trades and just keep track of it right on your mobile device. So we're in the month of October, and then you can see 29.66. I think I said 29.96 before, but in any case, 29.66 all the way at the bottom, 76 trades. So if we go up here to the tickers, the top 5 tickers, you can see Meta is at number 1 because this was the earnings trade that I just mentioned. SPY, a lot of iron condors, a lot of credit spreads. And then the triple Q, those were mainly iron condors. I think they were all iron condors, actually. Amazon, that was an earnings play. Microsoft, that was an earnings play. All right, if we take a look at the bottom 5 tickers, Roblox, Nikola, AMC, Ape, so those 4 right there, those are all stock losses. So I was able to cover those stock losses with the profits from these trades right here. And then the last one was INTC. That Intel earnings trade is something that I lost on as well. All right, so what type of trades did I make that made the most money? Well, of course, the long put, because that was the Meta earnings. Iron condors, put verticals, both short and long, and then short calls. So that would be covered calls, and that would mainly be on GME because I'm still selling covered calls on that stock. The bottom 5 for the trade types, long stock. Again, I'm trying to unload some of these bags that I'm holding, and that's where those that's where those losses are coming in. And then the short call verticals. Profitable for most of them, but then there's a few big losers there, and that sort of covers up and masks all the wins that I made. So that's where I am. for this month. Overall, pretty good month. And if you would like to continue to keep up to date with not only progress updates, but the Iron Condor strategies that I'm testing, then please go ahead and click on the subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you can find out when those results are posted. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below, or you can catch me on Twitter at Trading 5 Talents. Until next time, trade wisely and take care.